Today we're going to make this outdoor sofa with about $50 worth of 2x4s and $125 worth of cushions from Ikea. First, I ripped a 1/4 inch off both sides of the 2x4s to get rid of the rounded edges. I ended up with almost 2 buckets of sawdust, which I sprinkled over some newly seeded areas of my yard to help hold in the moisture. It actually worked really well. Next, we measured and cut all the pieces to length. The sofa is made up of a pair of legs, cross beams and supports, and then slats for the back and seat. Most of the cuts are fairly straightforward. The only angled pieces are the 2 sets of vertical back supports that are cut at 15-degree angles. We used pocket hole joints to connect most of the pieces together. This is a really easy and strong joint to make. I got my jig for about $40, but there's also cheaper ones available on Amazon. I used outdoor rated wood glue on most of the joints, even if I didn't show it on camera. I also ran out of outdoor rated screws, but it should be okay since I filled the holes with dowels anyway. To do this, you just put glue in the hole, hammer in the right size dowel, in this case they are 3/8 inch, and I used a pull saw to cut them flush. I used a doweling jig to install dowels that will hold the center pieces of the legs in place. This jig was like $10 and pretty simple to use. The center leg support made it a bit tight to work, but eventually I figured it out. I could have used pocket holes for that piece as well, but I wanted to try out my doweling jig, and in the end, it was okay. We drilled more pocket holes to attach the stretchers to the leg pieces. We also used dowels for 2 of the stretchers, but this didn't really work out that well, and I had to go back and add some screws for support later. Next, we just glued, fitted, and screwed everything together. Before adding the back and seat, we sanded everything with 120 grit sandpaper. This is where we went back and added some support on top of the dowels to hold on this piece because it wasn't very sturdy. Next, we installed the rest of the seat as well as the back, which I accidentally forgot to record. We used deck screws to attach the seat slats. I later went back and filled those holes with dowels. The back slats are filled with pocket hole screws and deck screws in the middle. I also went back and filled these with dowels afterwards. I used a mid-wax weathered oak stain that matches the outdoor table I built in the last video. Initially, I had wished I used something darker, but after living with this for a couple weeks, I have to say that it's growing on me. We finished everything with 4 coats of polyurethane. Finally, I hammered on some plastic feet to keep the wood out of any standing water. And that was it. I absolutely love how this turned out. It's way cheaper than buying anything pre-made, and I think it looks better too. If I did this again, the only thing I would do differently is I'd get a paint sprayer or use cedar or redwood, so I wouldn't have to paint on the polyurethane, which took forever. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe, as I have new content coming soon. Also, check out the video on how to make the matching coffee table. And, as always, thanks for watching.